My name is Tony Klinger, and the name of my book is The Butterfly Boy. There is also, around these two central characters, the women, the woman that is the central love of Arnie's life, becomes the target for revenge of Ratverler's life. And the other people around them flow around that central core, the mother and father of Arnie, the teachers, all of the other people come in and out of their lives. Those are the core characters. Hitler makes brief appearances. And there are real characters mixed into the history of these events, because you can't avoid them. You can't talk about people running Germany during the 30s and 40s without talking about Hitler and the people surrounding him. And in fact, if you've studied researched the history, you find that there were, in real life, one of Hitler's doctors, in fact, turns out to have been Jewish. Strangely and perversely, there were these odd things happening during that period, and there were these odd characters that came out of that bizarre and strange world that no one else could actually have imagined. You couldn't have, if you created that piece of fiction now and said that's what could happen, you wouldn't believe it, because you'd say, well, that couldn't have happened. Why would people behave that way? People behave that way inch by inch. They don't go that way in 1 second. They don't just pop out. Hitler probably thought he was a good guy, and probably went to bed thinking, well, I'm doing what I'm doing because that's the right way to react. In no way am I trying to justify I hate the guy, I hate his history, but I'm trying to explain that in that cockpit, in that world, people did strange things, and they did them because for good and bad reasons that we could all understand if you begin to understand those characters. The central character is a character called Arnie. Arnie is the boy who grows up to be the man who's the driving force of our story. He's a bull of a man, he's an artist, he's part Jewish, part German. He has all of the ingredients of a hero, but he's also has some of the ingredients of an anti-hero. He's handsome, he's compelling, he's charismatic, and he's very attractive, both to other men and to other women. His nemesis is Ratverler. Ratverler is everything in opposite. His sleight of figure, his Rat is his name for short. Rat is how best to describe him. He's not a nice man. His whole ambition becomes to knock down everything Arnie does and everything Arnie is. And around them come all the other figures that would be naturally part of their world, including Adolf Hitler, and everybody that was associated with that terrible tragedy of history. Yes, I did a lot of research about polio, and I did other research about the historical nature of both how people in the Christian resistance in Germany survived the Nazi oppression. I also did research about how people who should have been, under the terrible laws of the Nazis, killed. Some of them found ways of avoiding that fate. And so I made it my business to talk to a lot of people about that, and met some very interesting people who had exactly that experience. When somebody is disabled or otherwise able, whichever term you prefer, it's the assumption that there's something wrong with them and therefore they can't achieve the same things or better than other people. And not for a moment do I believe that. I was brought up with the assumption that whatever you believe you can do, you can do. And so I'm a very positive thinking person. And Arnie, our central character, and it's based on the reality of there are other people like this. I think the Paralympics proved it. That if you look at a thing in a different kind of way, you can succeed in a huge, even more important way than people that have all the abilities in the world. And so I wanted that to be my central theme. The most important thing I think a reader can take away from this book is, A, that they should enjoy it as a good read. That's prime importance. But that you can succeed over any odds, that you really can, if you believe in it and try hard enough, you can do almost anything. Of course you have to have natural talent, whatever you do, but you can nurture that. I think other people have talked about the 10,000 hour rule. that you can, if you keep working at something, eventually get to a point where you can achieve almost anything. There was a famous football manager I remember who used to talk about a mental image that he had when he had been a footballer, that of how to score the perfect goal, how he should look in his mind's eye when he's doing that shot. It's the same thing. I think if you take this book and you take it to its logical conclusion, you should be emotionally engaged. I want people to cry and I want them to laugh, but I want them above all to think. And I hope that's what the butterfly ball gives them.